すべてのドラゴン族はこの壺に封印されます。
Hi, it's your local dragon lady here with a new episode of the Dragon Capture Jar, where I just take a random dragon card and just talk about it off the cuff. So let's see what this lovely jar has caught for me this week. And we have the beautiful Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the End. And yes, this is the original secret rare. And oh man, when this card came out, this was just stupid, and it didn't take long. See, many people often debate, how did the ban list come to be? Because remember, in the first few years of Yu-Gi-Oh, there was a ban list. All we had was a limited list, so you can only have a limit of 1 card or 2 card. But no, when the Chaos Emperor and the Yatagarasu came out, that was it. They had to do a ban list, because when you combine these 2 cards together, you basically lock out your opponent. Your opponent cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, and I guess Upper Deck or Konami, whoever was in charge of these cards well, I know Upper Deck was in charge, but Konami, I believe, was still making the cards. They just did not think this through, because the original effect of this card was insane. All you do to special summon this guy at 3,000 beat sec no less was just banish 1 light, 1 dark monster. You pay 1,000 life points and you basically nuke the whole board, everyone's hands, and they take damage for each card sent to the graveyard by this effect. And I was blown away. I mean, that's just isn't fair. And even though that was not fair, I had to get this card, and I did have it in my deck. Now, at the time when it was released, they at least limited to at least 1. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. I mean, there wasn't any real way to search this card when it was released. So I had 1 in my dragon deck, and it really depended if I was able to draw into it or not. So I was able to draw into this card sometimes, not often, but when I did, oh boy, when I removed 1 light and 1 monster, my opponent knew what was coming and they would just scoop. This card terrified everyone. Now, of course, I did not get to play it that often for obvious reasons. You just have to draw into it. But oh man, it was an occasion. It was just something people they would either scoop or they would stick it out just to see this thing in action. It was nuts. I've done OTKs with this card. Getting the light and the dark in my graveyard for the dragon deck was not difficult at all, because my primary search card was either a Witch of the Black Forest or a Sangan, so those 2 are dark, and most of my dragons, like the blue ones, were all light. So it was so easy, in ridiculous levels to summon this card. The only tough thing was just drawing into it, but oh man, so we now know, as of recording this recently come off the ban list, but it has an errata. So right now, this card isn't really that good anymore. Basically, it's mostly the same. You still have to banish a light and a dark, pay your 1,000 life points, and you can nuke the board and your opponent's hand, but this is the only effect that you're allowed to use in the turn. So if you use any other card or monster effects, well, that's it. You can get them out. You just can't pay the life points to use this effect. So, and even then, the life points that he can do damage isn't really that great anymore. It might be good in the late game if they only have 1,500 or less life points, or if there's some very problematic monsters on the field, or you're worried about their hand for hand traps, then yes, it can be useful, but I don't think the gamble is really worth it anymore in today's game. But still, once this guy was unbanned, I actually put him in my Blue Eyes deck because he's now searchable, and I did summon him. I did not use his effect because, today is pretty useless, but I did get him out. It took me back to my glory days. It was so much fun. It's like, hello, old friend. We meet again. And the cool thing about this card is This card became banned shortly before or after I retired from the game, and it came back shortly after I came out of retirement, like a 14-year hiatus. Like this was, it makes me wonder, like, wow, like did this card like mourn my leaving and just celebrated my return? I know that sounds stupid, but it's just, I just find it so hilarious. Like, yeah, like basically when I come back, the card gets unbanned and you're limited to only one. Given how ineffective its effect is now, I guess it's still fair to say to keep it at one, because it is a good desperation move depending on the situation. So I'm going to say, like, today's standards, it's still fairly useful. But right now, my only reason for using it is just for the nostalgia. The artwork is amazing, and it is another anime card. I don't consider it an official anime card because you only see this in one of the filler arcs in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. It was never officially in the manga, at least I don't believe so. But when it came out, when Kaiba summoned the Chaos Emperor Dragon, I was like, woohoo! I mean, this arc sucks, but still, woohoo! My baby. So, this wasn't my signature card years ago when I played, but this was probably the biggest card people were terrified of. Not many people played him when they got him, but oh man, everyone knew I had him. So, anytime I was in a duel, people knew there was a chance, a small chance, that I'll get him out and win the game, because he was almost a win condition. You just draw into him, banish, that's it. Even if you don't do the OTK, you do an insane amount of damage and give your opponent a huge setback with no board or no hand to work with. They're basically starting over. So yeah, this card was stupidly busted, and it was a good thing it got banned because it made the game extremely unhealthy. But thanks to Errata's, it came back. I'm happy it came back. It's useless, but it's still... I was like, my boy's back. I just love it. And I even got to summon him just for old time's sake. I mean, I don't know if I'll put him in another deck, just as a fast and easy way to get a 3,000 attacker out. He's also, he is searchable with Melody. He's also a level 8, so I mean, hey, that could be an easy way to do some overlays for XC monsters and etc. So it's gorgeous to look at. I'm just gonna say he's semi-useful. There are far better cards out there, but hey, depending what you're building in the situation, he is still kind of relevant today. So I say why not. So. Anyway, this is your Dragon Lady saying, be a good sport. Play the game, not the game. See ya. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe and click on the little bell for notifications. You can also check me out on Facebook. Link is in the description below. Happy dueling!